Hey guys, welcome to the Modern Boomer Podcast. My name is Damo, or some of you may know me as Ranger. This is episode one, so bear with some of the jitters as I kind of figure out how to speak in a podcast. But this is episode one. We want to utilize this episode to talk about who we are, what we aim to accomplish, what our interests are, and then we kind of want to bullshit you guys for a minute, just to kind of set some tones for what future podcasts may be like. So to kind of get things moving, to get started, I'm gonna go ahead and let Doc introduce himself, and then I will go after.
Sure. My name's Doc. Go by Anthony as well. I've been called many things, but those are the ones that are more, PC. I am an ER physician and a tech enthusiast and gamer all the way from the 80s. So I was born in the 70s, and I was an Atari, Nintendo, ColecoVision kind of guy that kind of grew up through the ranks and got into more advanced video gaming. And that's basically because my father was a amusement guy. So he did like jukeboxes and snack machines and video games. And he used to, count the quarters. We didn't go to camp when I was little, so I just had to go on his route. And he left the machines open, and I played Q*bert to my heart's content. And it really stuck with me. And to this day, I still enjoy it. And I think that, when you're young, video games are things of children. But as you get older, and in this day and age, I mean, it is a completely viable
Hobby.
Esports hobby, competitive, just casual gaming. I'm more on the casual side. Damo's more on the competitive side. And if you game with us, you'll see that. But so we created this podcast just because we were looking for a space for people like us, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I plan to do some stuff on the podcast with reviewing some tech, some old school gaming, some trips, things you may want to see, things you may not want to see. But if you subscribe, you'll see it. So it'll be interesting over the next couple of months to years.
Yep, the content will evolve. So I said who I was. I'm Damo. Some of you know as me Ranger. I'm a computer engineer by trade. At night, I'm a competitive gamer. I'm not. I was born a little earlier. I was born in '91, but I grew up playing some pretty old games. My mother was a hardcore gamer in my younger years, so I grew up playing Rise of the Triad, Castle Wolfenstein, Doom, Myst, things like that, Duke Nukem, and some I can't even think of what they're called now. Adventure of Blake Stone, Descent. Things like that. Yeah, Descent. Joystick. The old serial port joysticks. But outside of gaming, I'm an amateur strongman, or I was for a while. I took a bit of a break, so I hurt myself, but we're getting back at it. So I plan to put some of that content up as I go through that. I'm a bit of an audiophile and a musician. I have a handful of guitars, and I have a nice Pioneer DJ set that I've been playing with for a while. Bedroom DJ, as some would say. I'm a gun nut. I don't have any of them in front of me right now, but I own a handful of weapons and, plan to grow that collection. And I'm sure some of that content will be something that I'll try to dive into. And just kind of your all-around American dude. I don't know, good old boy, as some would say. I have been playing a lot of competitive games. So my very first competitive game was Counter-Strike. And that kind of paved the road for kind of that competitive mindset moving forward. And
your ulcers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stomach heartburn for sure. And it just never stopped. And that didn't really care what genre of game I was playing in. If I played MMO, I was competitive there. If I was playing a first-person shooter, I was competitive there. If I was playing a real-time strategy, Age of Empires, I grew up with that. Very competitive game online.
Yeah.
MSN Gaming, for some of those guys who might remember that. And
wow, you really dug deep on that.
Yeah, so
MSN Gaming.
I know, yeah, back in the day, But so yeah, a little bit of that. Right now, I'm really big into Tarkov, and you'll see a lot of my content's Tarkov based, just because it's probably one of the best shooter games that's come out in the last, I don't know, 5 years, 5-10 years. I know that's kind of a ballsy thing to
Absolutely.
say, but it's just the content, the quality of that game continues to grow. So, kind of as what Doc said, we're really going to hit a lot of different things to try to provide content, and we're going to see how you guys feel, and that'll drive some of the things we do.
Hmm.
I plan to do gaming videos like Doc. I plan to do some tech reviews. Mine will probably be more in computer hardware, things like that. Obviously, a little bit of gym stuff. I know that there's a lot of guys out there our age who are married, full-time careers, and it's hard to get motivated to work out. And I did that for a long time, and I'm getting back into it. So I plan to try to log, or I don't know, diary, what's the word for that, that experience again, coming back
Yeah.
at it, talking about my meals, my workout plans, and show growth. And then some other things in the middle there, some camping stuff. I live in Colorado, maybe some shooting, I don't know, we'll see. We're going to try a plethora of stuff, and we'll go from there. But me and Doc here, Doc and I plan to do a lot of stuff together, and it'll be good. It should be interesting. And the podcast will be consistent, so we'll have some sort of actual way to reach out and kind of mold from there. And
So what age group do you think we're targeting here with this podcast?
that's a tough one, because I feel like age is less. I know people make fun
It's
of
only a
people.
number.
Yeah, I know I make people get made fun of, and they're like, "Oh, I'm an old soul," but there's a lot of truth to that. Um, I've met a lot of guys who are in their late 20s who, they like whiskey. They like to sit at home. They like to, you wouldn't know that they were in their late 20s if they didn't tell you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Their interests don't really line up with the kids of this generation, and I think some people live that. I think some people grow up and they kind of follow. We say the modern boomer because as millennials and Gen X move into their latter years, Gen Z all calls us boomers. That's like that's the thing. And we have a couple Gen Z guys in the group, and you'll hear that. So,
Right.
but I think it's just kind of a personality thing. But we're really trying to target guys between their late 20s, or early 30s, all the way up until their maybe late 50s, or even whatever the range. If our content appeases you, then it appeases you. If you're 18 years old and you feel like you fit in with the modern boomer crowd, then welcome.
Right.
There's a smoking chair waiting for you here, and a cigar. We'll move forward with it. Don't drink, you're
Right.
underage. But I'm not your
But
dad.
I completely agree. I mean, obviously, it's for anybody, right? Anybody who wants to, check us out and learn something about some tech, if you do, or maybe a vacation or a place you might want to go and have a good time. But it's kind of like this is an interesting area that I don't see a lot of in the online YouTube space. Basically, it's people who are starting to get a little bit more professional in their workforce, but they still like to hold on to the things they did when they were younger, like gaming.
Yes.
So we are looking at like stuff. Basically, it's like, hey, what do we enjoy at our age, right? We enjoy gaming, we enjoy good whiskey, we might enjoy a cigar, might go places with our family, or maybe even not with our family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Little hot spots.
as Damo says, exercise, diet.
Yeah.
I'll do some health stuff now and again,
You're better as a
because
doctor.
that's what they pay me the other bucks for. So we'll do all that. But again, we'll do some funny stuff. We'll do some gaming. You'll see what we do well and what we don't do well, and check us out. I think if you are in this range where you like to, you work, you have a 9 to 5 job, you like to come home and try out some interesting things and play some interesting games, we're your guys.
Yeah, I mean, follow along with us. I mean, the whole idea behind this is that there's again, as Doc said, there's not a lot of content for this. It seems like it's a lot of Gen Z stuff. I mean, even, and I hate to bring this guy up, but PewDiePie, I mean, he was around when I was a young kid, and he's developed years, and he has stints and moments where he starts to kind of hit his community's age as they grow with him, but then he goes back down and hits that lower community again, because that's for where his type of style, where the content's at. But a lot of
Right.
our guys struggle. You get on YouTube and it's like, oh, maybe you watch Garand Thumb, Plaid Daddy if you're a gun guy, or you watch Pestley if you're a Tarkov guy. He's an older dude. There's definitely some guys out there who are older dudes who provide that, but their content is very general, and we want to try to target people in our group. And
Right.
we want to try to get out there and really reach out to dudes who are full-time career. I've been full-time career guy since I was like 24,
Hmm.
23, and some of us have families and children, and it's like, you want to be able to experience some of those things and maybe find something for yourself. I'm the king of doing 900 hobbies, master of none, knower of
Right.
all. So, but yeah, I think that's a general kind of concept behind it. That's what we, would like to accomplish, and it's going to be growing. It's a growing pains, and
Right.
we'll go from there.
Yeah, you'll grow with us. And they say if you do something you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life. So basically, these videos about stuff that we like, and hopefully you guys like it too.
Yeah, and the content will develop. I'm sure. We'll see how that goes.
Right, right. You want to tell them about the Discord?
Yeah. So we got a Discord going. It's a little new to us. I grew up with Ventrilo and TeamSpeak and some of those apps. So Discord's kind of this fancy thing, and it definitely took me some time. But we'll get the Discord linked below or somewhere, depending on where you're at. And
Right.
feel free to join. The Discord's got some cool stuff in it. It's developing opportunities for guys to grow and expand and to grow within the community, and that gives you options to unlock more places within Discord with more content. And we're going to be posting trial game codes, or if we have spare game codes, or options to join the community games and events and things like that. So the Discord's a great place, and there's a lot of good guys there from my gaming community, and actually Doc and I's longtime friends are in there, and they're great guys to talk to. There's a lot of good memes and humor. And then
Right.
if you're a hardcore Tarkov player, reach out to me. We have a little subgroup called the Dead Player Society. Those are for guys who are very hardcore in Tarkov, and if that's kind of your environment, reach out to us. That's a part of the thing. There's some vetting involved because it's obviously that game is ruthless, but
Right.
yeah,
It's
please
like
check out
golf.
Discord. It can be. It's
Tarkov's
violent
like
golf.
golf. It's like easy to pick up, impossible to master, and
Yeah,
exceedingly frustrating. And you want to throw your clubs.
yeah.
And that's how I feel almost every day I
That's a
play that
great.
game. So
That's a
your
great
mom was a
example.
gamer? I
My
didn't
mom
even
was a
realize
gamer.
that.
Yeah, my mom
That's
was
how
a
you
gamer.
learned?
That's how I learned. So actually, my dad played Descent. That was like this one thing that he
Really?
played. We had a 484, 42. On old, my first computer was older than dirt. It had the
Right.
off-shell white IBM. And we that was it. Castle Rise of the Triad was the one that I remember the most. And Blake Stone, I think, is the other one, which is an old game.
Wow.
All DOS at that point, or Windows 3.1 maybe. And then but my mom, Rise of the Triad was her thing in Myst. I got grounded a couple
Oh, I
times
remember
because
Mist.
I saved over her Myst saves
Oh
with my
no.
own. And Myst is for those who know, Myst is not a game that you save over people's progress, because it
Yeah.
takes weeks and days and months to solve some of this stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of where my gaming stuff started. And my mom gamed for a long time. You know what I mean? I get my musical stuff from her. My mother was definitely more the colorful one in the group. But yeah, that's kind of where my gaming stuff, and it stuck with me.
That's funny. I mean, I remember I was just like yesterday, I just joined a Facebook group from Roberta Williams and Ken Williams. They were the people who created all the Quest games: King's Quest, Space Quest, Heroes
Okay.
Quest. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember those, but those were
Yeah, I
like
do.
DOS. Those were
Yep.
like DOS floppy disk
Heroes
games
Quest.
where they just
Yes.
basically said, "Please don't copy this," and there was actually no copy protection on the games.
Yeah.
And that's where
Please
I
and thank
learned
you.
it. That's where I got my first PC
Okay.
experience. My uncle had King's Quest 2, and I made my mom go out and buy me a computer. And at the time, it was like she had to take out a loan to get me
They
a
were like
PC, and it was
four or
they're
five
like
thousand dollars.
four or five thousand
Yeah.
dollars for
Yeah.
like a 286 with like 16 megabytes of RAM
That's a,
and like 20 megabytes of hard drive space. They're like, you'll never fill it.
you're
And
not
it's
accounting for inflation too. $5,000
right.
in the early '90s and late mid '80s that was a lot of money.
Right. So I'm hoping that I can actually re-download these games and play them because
Oh, you
people have
can.
posted videos, and I've got to do it just for fun because I don't think anybody's streaming King's Quest on Twitch. I'm pretty sure.
No.
Yeah, I'll be the only one. So if you see it, it's me.
Yeah, it's true. And we'll get it on YouTube too, because I know some of the guys
Yeah.
are not big Twitch people, but we'll get the Let's Plays on YouTube. I do working, and honestly, we can work to get DOSBox set up, which is a DOS emulator for Windows. That's how I play Rise of the Triad and some of those older games, because you have to.
You got to bring
any of
that
those
crap
old.
back every once in a while.
I know. There's some of
Be
the
true
old
to your
Sierra
roots.
games. If you guys remember Sierra,
Right.
gaming, Sierra Game Company, Lighthouse, some of those old like kind of horror games. I plan to do some of those, but yeah, though that's I remember those. Those are old. Those some 2D,
Those are really old.
linear. But yeah,
Did you
so
did you have Atari, or you weren't around for that?
no, I wasn't around for Atari. So the first console I had was a Super Nintendo. Well,
Oh,
actually, I didn't have it. My cousin had it, and I would like literally spend the night at her house to play. And it was like Mario and things like that. I'm trying to think what other games we had. It's like some Scooby Doo game, but it's Mario. It was like
right.
Mario
It was all Mario.
is the shit.
Yeah,
That was what you played.
yeah.
And then I got an N60. Excuse me. I got an N64, and Perfect Dark, 007,
Hmm.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. Some of those
They're
kind of
remaking.
games.
They're supposedly remaking GoldenEye
They should.
for, I believe it's for Xbox,
Okay,
which is interesting. I know
that
we
is gonna
talk
be
about
interesting.
Microsoft in a little bit, but
Yep.
I just saw some screenshots of it. But I mean, I started with Pong. I had Pong
Okay.
when there was like
My
6
dad had an
games, and
Atari.
that was it. I had
Yeah.
Pong. No, that was before Atari, and then I
No,
had
I
like the
know.
2600. I did Intellivision. I skipped over ColecoVision because my parents wouldn't buy it for me. I ended up with Nintendo, and I think I've almost had every console except for the Sega Saturn. I think I've
Okay.
had every console in existence, and the newest Xbox. I haven't. I don't have that one. I have
Okay.
a PS5 though, and it collects dust in the corner of my
Yeah,
office.
I have a console. Okay, so yeah, so I'll go with my chain. So I got the NES, I had N64, I got a PlayStation 1, which I really worked hard for because my family didn't have a lot of money growing up. So PlayStation 1 was a tough one, but I wanted to
Right.
play Medal of Honor. I wanted to play Medal of Honor so bad, and we made it work. It took some begging. From there, I went to PC.
Mm-hmm.
I had my first computer was a Compaq. I
Presario.
can't. I don't remember the model number for it, but it had an AMD with 333 megahertz, 2 megabytes onboard Radeon graphics card, and a 10 gig hard drive and 64 megs of RAM, which back then was baller. Actually, it wasn't baller. It was not fantastic, but I could play
Yeah.
Diablo and Diablo 2. I could play Age of Empires, but that quickly got phased because shortly after we had Star Wars Galaxies, Planet Side come out, Battlefield 1942, and that computer wasn't going to run any of that shit.
Right. Right.
Um, from there, I got an Xbox, the first Xbox, and that kind
Mhm.
of broke me
The Can
into
Cams, the
yes,
big freaking controllers.
yeah, and the big old yeah, and they make that bubbly sound, and Halo. I honestly
Mhm.
had the demo disc for that first. I played Halo. I played the map cartographer map over and over. But Halo, Morrowind, which I plan to do a let's play for you guys because I know Morrowind is a fan favorite for some of us older dudes. It's like one of the very first open world RPGs outside of Daggerfall, so I know a lot of people into that. And then from there, I got an actual computer. My mom dated a dude who's a computer guy, and he put together some parts for me. And I went over to his house and we built it. And it was a Pentium 4. I had a Radeon 5750 or something at 512
Wow.
megs of onboard video graphic, and it was an AGP card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I had like 2
Eight
gigs
X
of
or
RAM or something.
16X. It was
It
16X,
was
right, at the time.
8x. That was 8x.
Oh
There was
no.
only 4 and 8. I don't think they ever did. They go to 16?
They did for a while,
Did
yeah,
they?
but maybe they. I don't even remember four. I remember Sound Blasters used to be pretty low. We used to
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
Sound Blaster cards.
Well, I had
That's
one that was
funny.
PCIe though. I remember you had to have a sound card back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was where my Counter Strike came in. I played 1.6 and then Source, but yeah, that was it. And from there, it just kind of grew. Eventually, I just over time grew parts, and then you get money and you buy computer parts, and it grows from there. But yeah, so and I haven't left PC since. I own an Xbox One, which I bought for my wife because she's was never really gamed before, and she got interested in
Mhm.
it. So, but it
Did she
also
play it?
collects dust. Well, I built her a computer recently.
Right.
You
You guys
know,
playing Star Wars?
yeah, Star Wars. So we played. So before that, and I don't want to deviate too much, but before that, we had an iMac. She had a MacBook Pro, and it had just enough oomph in it that I could install Windows and we could play a couple games like Minecraft, which is a huge
Mhm.
favorite of hers. Star Wars Galaxies, which was the first MMO I broke into her. That she really broke into. And then we wanted to play more. We wanted to play the Division together, and all these things are not cross compatible. So I finally built her a computer. I had upgraded my graphics card and I gave her my old one, and I had a bunch of leftover parts, and I just put her to computer together, and that's where we're at now. Now she's the happy owner of a 3070
Is
Ti,
it?
and we're playing.
Wow.
Tarkov is on the list now, and
Do you guys are you
And
in the same room or are you in separate
no,
rooms when
she
you
has
play?
an office. She has her own office over there. We get on Discord. It's really silly because I could scream to her, and I mean, I don't even have to scream. I could mildly talk loud, and she would
Right.
hear me. But the Discord, it's just easier that way. And we
Yeah.
share our screens because she's got 2 monitors. I bought her a monitor mount and got her a vertical, and I gave her a
Oh boy.
2K monitor and stuff. So she went from nothing into like the big boy world pretty quick. I guess that's the luxury of having a computer engineer as a husband, but she's
That's
loving it.
great.
She's mind-blowingly addicted to SWOTOR. So
I would
you know,
kill to have my wife play with us, but my
you'd be
wife would
surprised.
rather be on fire than play video games, I think.
You know what, I think so. It's kind of like when I really went for the story mode games for my wife, and that's what kind of
Right.
what dug her into it. And SWOTOR is a good one because you run around, you click some buttons, it's all flashy, you kill some people,
It's all
yeah.
talk
Yeah, but
voiced.
it's all like your BioWare games. You select what you want to say, and it all has different effects. And my wife loves that. She loves to be able to play her character. And again, this woman grew up with no video games. Her whole family are sports nuts, athletes, things like that, and video games were not on the thing. So she would
Right.
watch Survivor and pass out. And I'm like, let me give you something a little more brain entertaining. But yeah.
BioWare is an interesting company because being a physician, BioWare was actually started by two physicians who, from my recollection, they actually went through residency and then met each other and said, we're not going to continue. We're going to make video games instead. So they basically just effed off of medicine and
That's
just
that's a
made a video game company
ballsy
instead.
that's a
Isn't
ballsy
that
leap.
crazy? Because
I
medical
mean,
school ain't cheap.
no, and
That's an
my
expensive thing to do.
my brother-in-law is currently getting into residency, and seeing that man go through he's going through, like I remember like this clean shaven, in shape dude, and now he's just like, you can tell he's suffering a little bit on the inside, getting through all that
Right.
schoolwork and residency, and how many times he can't make family things because he just can't leave school, he can't do that kind of stuff. And I feel
That's
like if
right.
I went through all that, I'm not leaving it for the hopes that I make millions of dollars making video games.
Yeah, that's definitely a ballsy move. More power to them. I hope they keep churning out some good things because I
Yeah.
remember, what did they make? They made did they
Mass
do Baldur's? They
Effect.
did Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
And that was huge. Mass Effect. I mean, then Star Wars and a lot of RPGs. They were just
That's their thing,
amazing games.
RPGs. Yeah,
Right.
they make good.
I
They make
traveled.
good stuff.
I traveled to Boston, Penny Arcade, PAX East,
Okay.
just to play the game you're playing, just to play the Star Wars. Because once Galaxies went away, and I was waiting for the newest
Yes.
Star Wars MMO,
Yes.
I actually drove 5 hours up there. I should post a picture. I have my pic. I'm like there talking to the creators, and they let us run a raid.
You got to dig that up.
A mission.
You got to dig that up.
And then I got to go to the after party, which was fun. Went to
You got
the
to
Twitch
dig
after
that up.
party too. That was
Yeah,
fun.
you got to dig that one up.
I got it somewhere.
Yeah, I want to see that. Have you ever thought about playing that again? Did you play back then?
I did. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I have it. I own it. I have the box set, so I have the big freaking
I do too.
statue in the back of my office too.
Yeah.
But it's just I wasn't able to find. To me, like that kind of game is fun playing with people that you know. But I didn't know you started playing it again. But I might be interested in retrying it. I mean, they just released a new content, right?
Yeah, but see, I haven't played since I mean, I was in the beta for that game. And I bought it the day it came out. Actually, I bought 2 copies on accident. I got one for Christmas for my mother, and I had bought one myself, so I had 2 copies. The discs are still in my closet, but yeah, I just been playing the normal storyline because I never finished it.
Cool.
And they've definitely done some free to play bullshit on it now, but we pay the subscription for it, and it makes the game full. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
MMOs are dangerous though. MMOs are dangerous. They can be vastly addicting real quick.
Yes.
I
My
learned that with
ex-wife was
Star
the
Wars
World
Galaxies.
of Warcraft widow. So
Yeah.
she used to get really mad when I'm like, "Hey, we're doing Naxxramas. I have to walk away from all the people in the house for an hour and a half. I'll be back. Just tell everybody I had something else to do."
Oh yeah, that's see, okay. I definitely been through a divorce, but I have lost some relationships over Star Wars Galaxies back in the day. Star Wars Galaxies and Matrix Online. was another really addicting game
Oh,
for
I
me.
miss Matrix Online.
Oh, it was a great game. Great game. So that's the thing too. And so the guys who are watching, I mean, we grew up in the golden era of MMOs.
Right.
And I got to be honest with you. I don't know if it's just because I'm old and my brain doesn't give me the same amount of dopamine as it used to. But I haven't found an MMO that really tickles like Star Wars and Matrix and those games. They just don't hit.
Me neither.
They don't hit anymore. I remember
They
making like
just
friends and
right.
I don't know.
It doesn't, it feels like it's just all of the same stuff. Like there's just nothing new. It's just like everybody gets on these
It's a
MMOs, or maybe it's
template.
the way people address MMOs too, because you just get on like level, grind, level, end game. And
Right.
the thing about like, but the BioWare stuff is like you kind of like have to listen to the you don't have to listen to the story, but like it kind of slows you down a little bit. You get to enjoy it a little bit. But yeah, I have not, since Star Wars Galaxies, I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning before I went in and rounded on patience. I used to go and make sure that my hoppers had like raw materials in them,
And
and I was
power.
churning out armor, right?
Yeah.
We were churning out armor, and the store was stocked for the day so that when I came home to see how many credits I had.
Oh, I mean, I played that game for 11 years from beginning to end. I mean, I when it first came out, I didn't have a computer that could run it, but I had a kid I went to school with whose brother had it and him had it, and they were both addicted to it.
Right.
And his dad would let me play on his computer, and I would go over there and we'd play for hours. And then finally, my mom started a magazine company and she bought a basic graphics card, and I could play Star Wars Galaxies, and I binged that game. Actually, my mom had given me some money to like, they went on vacation. And I was hanging with my cousin, and my cousin was babysitting my little sister at the time. And my mom had gave me like $50 for food in case I wanted to get something that wasn't at the house. I bought all the expansions for Star Wars with that.
Jump to
I was like, I'll
Lightspeed and
starve.
all that
I'll
stuff.
fuck yeah. It was Lightspeed had just come out, and I was like, I'll
Yeah.
starve. I don't give a shit.
Right.
And I played
That's
that stuff
great.
from 8 in the morning to fucking 3 in the morning. I got grounded for that one. I wasn't.
And you actually worked on some of the resurgence of that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked on the emulator project. So, for those who may still only play Galaxies, there's an emulator called Star Wars Galaxies Legends. It's a good server. There's a couple thousand active players, usually about 1,500 active players. There used to be, at least. It's been a minute since because I left the project a while back. I just didn't have time for it, and I wasn't able to give as much investment. And they're a team that's constantly developing. They needed active guys, and I just didn't have the time for them. And so, you feel guilty. But I recommend it. Go check out Legends, Star Wars Galaxies Legends. They actually released Bespin. They put a whole new map in the game. They made Bespin with a whole storyline and everything, put it in the game, new items, new gear. And I actually fixed a ton of original bugs in that game, painfully.
And Sony didn't give you any hard time for that?
No, and actually, I probably shouldn't say this, but some of the people who were involved in it know and have actually given us documentation over the years. The original source code was leaked by an employee when they were getting shut down. That's how we got a hold of it. So, and one of the guys on the team, who I will not name, was a QA guy for them and had close relationships. So no, they leave us. Disney is who we'd be worried about.
Right.
But it seems
The
like
House of Mouse coming for you.
But I tell you what, we're not making any money, and they do a real good job at. We release financial documents every month. No money could be had. We had a constant team fighting credit selling, which is still a problem on emulators. And at the House of Mouse, they would just, hey, you don't bother us, we won't bother you. And we never played that line. We did exactly what we do to minimize as much as possible, and left it at that. And they don't care because there's no money in it for them.
Right.
SWTOR is still a monster MMO. Now, if we had 10 million players or so, 100,000 players, maybe might get some heat. But no, they've. I got a kitty right here, so I apologize.
That's okay. No, that's awesome though. I mean, I still, I went on that server and I played it, and it was very nostalgic. But you realize like how much games have advanced since, because what you remember in your head is sometimes a little bit different than what you see on the screen many years later.
Yeah, well, I mean, Star Wars Galaxies. I played pre-CU. I played like the original one, and I went through all the expansions with it. And I went back and played the pre-CU version. I was like, I like this, but now that I've played through all the end game and stuff, I saw how bland it was without an active social community. Sorry, this one. It's Daddy's girl.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, I missed that. The New World came out, which was really good, but Amazon dropped the ball on it. The game was a ton of fun. I loved it. Other than, so we have this community guy. His name's Dak. You may see him as Kevin, but his name's Dak. He's our fellow Asian gamer. I say that with he goes by that. That's his thing. He's first generation American from Vietnam. His family's from Vietnam, but he like grinded that game in 2 weeks, end game content. And but Amazon there were so many bugs, duping bugs, cheats, exploits, and then they were basically making changes and weren't talking about their change. They weren't QAing them. They were just releasing stuff. They weren't being transparent. And if you reported people, it was like not anonymous and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of issues. So,
right. Yeah, and I lost the 3090 to that game, so I never turned it back on because after I RMA'd the 3090, I'm like, I'm just too afraid. And I kept going on the forums and looking, and it would say, yeah, it's fixed now. And then somebody else would be like, nope. And they'd send a picture and like all the red lights are on in their video card and they have no screen. And I'm like, you know what? Everybody's doing this. You know, EVGA was saying it's New World. New World was saying it's EVGA. Then EVGA admitted that they didn't have good thermals on their whether it was their RAM sinks or something like that. And it was just back and forth, and it's like
VRMs. I think it was the voltage regulators on those were burning up because the cars are so demanding. But I will stand by now and say that's the designer's fault, not new. You can't blame software for hardware failure. And back in the day maybe, but not today. Especially a game that's like a video game. Like, okay, it's going to try to render as many frames as it wants. Get the hell out of here. Like, regulate your GPU. Where's your voltage rig? Where's your thermals? You know what I mean? That's a you problem, not a game problem. Amazon's like, oh, hey, we noticed your graphics card hot, so we're going to turn down our software. No, that's not how that works. You know what I mean? But yes, there's no good MMOs.
Until you're on the side of looking for another 3090, then you get mad.
Yeah. You know what? My 3070 Ti, it definitely got hot playing that game. I used to it would sit in the 90s and I used to monitor it, and I started playing in the wintertime, and my computer's next to my window. I have these two tower, like back there, and I have another one here, tower windows. And I pop them open when it's snowing. That cold air would come in and it would drop 10 degrees or so, and crack out some New World. I miss that game. I really wish it wasn't as crappy as it was. But anyways, this hasn't been a lot of good MMOs. It's just been a rough time for those kind of games.
I have an idea for an MMO. I want it completely open world. I want you to be dropped off in the middle of a planet. It's a whole planet. You don't know what the hell's going on. You got to figure out what's going on, and there's some big conflict, and you got to try to get in the way of it. And it's like it's mix Valheim with an MMO, and
you like the crafting. You like the open world crafting.
I don't like to be directed, and that was what I enjoyed about Star Wars Galaxies, that there was only very cursory direction in the game as far as like where you would go and what you would do. I mean, you would basically, the game is what you made of it. Like, hey, I want to be an armor smith. I want to make the best pistol in the game or whatever, and you'd be hunting for crate pearls or something like that on Tatooine.
Scales,
right. And then that was the greatest thing about crafting in SWG, was that there was everything used the same recipe, but then there was this spot for this like random other special item that you can put in it that would boost
components
the
stats. You had to make components to components for the main schematic, and then you could add augments and all sorts of things.
Right. That's what I like. So, but I don't want to be told like, go to part A, then go to part B, and now travel to part C, and then fight this guy in part D. And it's just like, you feel like you're in a cattle chute, and you're just making. But
that's kind of how we grew up, though. We grew up in the same. I mean, Marwin was like, there's a guy, like, I don't know, a half a mile that way west, and then you're gonna find a fucking tree and like a chipped rock. You're gonna take a right there, and then you'll go past the guy in a yellow poncho, and then there's a dude in a field. You're gonna have to kill him, and he's got a key on him. You bring that back to me, and it would take like 45 minutes to an hour. You're like, okay, I found the fucking rock. Where's the yellow poncho guy? But the thing is you like the crafting, but Star Wars Galaxies, you couldn't chop trees or anything like that. You could put crafters up, but there was no you could build cities, things like that would change the world, but no open. See, that's what I miss. I don't know. I don't want to be special. I know that seems crazy for like everybody wants to be the superhero, but I love Star Wars Galaxy because you were just another person. You were just another person in the world.
You could be a dancer, right? You would just buff
entertainer. Yeah.
That was it.
Well, and people would tack it on with stuff. Entertainers would often be crafters, or they would
Mhm.
do some basic, like Terraskasi, the martial art, or some
Right.
basic stuff. Medics, a lot of entertainers are medics. But I just like how you were just another Joe. And sure, you could build a legacy, you could be wealthy, whatever you want, but you'll never be Luke Skywalker, not Darth Vader. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
just another person who lives. I love that. I love that
And
so
remember
much
the
about
devs used to come in and have events, and like Darth Vader would come down on his like
Yes.
Trilambda shuttle with like a
Yeah.
shit ton of like stormtroopers, and they would just start like wailing on everybody. It was
Yeah.
awesome when that used to happen.
Well, and you could like go up and slap him, and he would just like force choke the dog shit out of you,
Yeah.
and then and then you're like, and you're dead, and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna do that again.
But it was fun.
Empire Day. Yeah, but I just
Yeah.
miss that. I miss that. Like you're a nobody. Build your own legacy. Here's the environment. Here's some tools. Figure it out. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
Everybody has to be fucking special. Everybody's got to be, King Henry VIII with 13 wives. Like I don't need that.
Right.
Just let me live. Let me just live in Star Wars. Let me have a house.
Everybody's looking for the orange item.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem. That's why I like
Ultra
Tarkov.
rare.
It's ruthless.
Yeah.
Tarkov same way. All right, here you go.
So what's our BS topic of the day? Even though we kind of went on a big
I
rant
feel like
about
we've been
MMOs.
bullshitting now. We've been bullshitting
Yeah.
now for a while. I don't know. I guess we wanted to, I wanted to briefly bring up the Activision, Microsoft thing, Blizzard, and then Sony and Bungie. I know that's kind of old news now. We're a little late to get to that, but I am, for one, excited for our new Microsoft overlords. And that's coming from a guy who works in Microsoft stack for engineering for most of my life, and I thoroughly hate them in a lot of ways. So, but they can't be any worse than Activision and Blizzard. And if you look at games like Age and New Offworld, or what is it? What's the other one they had that came out? It was
I don't remember.
I can't remember what it is, but they make good games.
Did they do Asheron's Call?
I don't think Microsoft did Asheron's Call. Maybe Microsoft Ensemble Studios. I can Google it. I'll be Jamie. I'll be Jamie from Joe Rogan.
So a $68.7 billion all cash deal.
They did.
That's what I understand.
Microsoft did publish Asheron's Call. Sorry.
Oh yeah, and then what's his name? Buffett bought $1 billion worth of Activision stock right before that happened. So that was probably a decent move. I'm sure that Buffett knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right.
Someday, I don't think we'll talk too much about stock investments in the group. Maybe if that comes up to be an interest, but someday I want a Berkshire A-class stock. I know they're like $350,000, but I just want that gold egg.
Right.
But if that goes down, you lose thousands, and if it goes up, you gain thousands. I don't know.
Right. Someday you'll get it.
Yeah.
But now I just saw that. I mean, they're actually saying now that they want to bring more of the Blizzard titles to console, even the Switch. So they're not just like hoarding it to their own Xbox and Microsoft platforms. So you're going to be
Microsoft wants
continue.
Money.
Yeah, people who buy PlayStation, we'll take their money. It's fine. Yeah. And then the Switch now, and they want to do. Diablo's already on Switch, right? So. It'd be interesting to see if they try to put WoW to a console. It'll be interesting to see what's coming up. I mean, I'm pretty excited to see it because I don't think it'll affect me that much, but Microsoft has enough money and enough balls to try new stuff, so we'll see. They'll see what sticks.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see them try to revitalize Call of Duty series. They're going to inherit that, and they Call of Duty needs some help.
What? They're on top of it. What?
Contact. Wait, this guy's cheating.
What the fuck? The fucking car! Someone clip! The car's flying and there's a cheater on it. Hello?
I know it's got a player base, but it's got a massive cheating problem. The content is the same. It's the same damn. It's like almost like somebody took your shirt from you and then like dyed it a slightly different color and gave it back to you, still kind of wet. You know what I mean?
There was a Simpsons episode, and I remember Smithers used to collect dolls, and every time a new doll came out, they would like go crazy and buy it, and it was like the exact same doll, but the doll had a slightly different hat. So they like wanted that doll anyway, and it's like but you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to play the other side of that argument because even though it's the same thing, and people say, oh, it's just a reskin, and it's exactly the same thing. But like, think about what like Battlefield did, right? They tried something new, and obviously their newest game is problematic in more ways than just trying new things with bugs and stuff like that. But I mean, when you try a new thing, sometimes you live and die by that sword, and things don't work out, and they're like, this sucks. Why'd you change it? And it's like, we're a tough bunch to satisfy.
It's a tough one, but I feel like, it's like, I hate to go back to Tarkov, but like that game, I bought that game a couple years ago, and I bought the EOD for $140, and every year I've gotten consistent content updates. And some of them I fucking hated, and I still don't like them, but the game develops, it's moving forward. I think that I'm not saying like when they did all the wall jumping, fucking space, backpack, jetpack, dog shit, I wasn't about that. And I can get, but like they need to go back to some of their roots with like strong storylines, and traditional like TDM and those kind of like server browser stuff. You don't have to be everything's a lobby today. Like, let me just browse servers. Let me find one called like, Nick's TDM, no revives or something. You know what I mean? Like, I miss those days with Source. It used to be like that, That
was like, reminds me of DayZ server browsing.
Oh my God.
New loot every 4 hours. No night mode.
Yeah. What was the map in DayZ?
Was it?
What was it called?
Chinaris? No.
Chinaris. I gotta look it up. Jamie, what's the map? What's the map from?
Well,
DayZ?
the new one is Livonia, but that's the new one. Chinaris, yeah. Chernarus. Chinaris.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But it'd be like Chinaris. It'd be like all these different mods: 24/7, short night. 2 times speed for run group, you know what I mean? All that, whatever, you know what I mean? Double zombies, I miss that kind of stuff. Everything's a lobby now, But yeah, for one, I'm excited to see what they do. So, but
yeah, I mean, they did they hadn't really done a tremendous amount with the Fallout series, though.
Well, they just bought Bethesda
was that a year ago, though? I mean, not to say that they're going to produce a game in a year, but I guess not. We'll see what they do with that.
Let's see, Microsoft.
I mean, 76 was the last one, and that wasn't good.
Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion, and that looks like that was 2021. So yeah, less.
Oh, it was only a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
But they have been making changes. They've been making changes at 76? I feel like Microsoft's been making some changes to that. They're going to story stuff. They've been adding a lot of story content to that, which is what Fallout players fucking want. Nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Who the hell thought Fallout MMO was a good idea? You're high. Let me.
I played it. Me. Glenn and I played it in Soviet.
I own it. I just never played it. Like I couldn't get myself to do it. Yeah.
It's all right. It's missing. It's lacking something, but it's like. There's a lot of similarities to Fallout, but it doesn't feel like Fallout.
Yeah, see, that would bother me. That would bother me. That was like Skyrim. I remember when I played Morrowind and Oblivion was coming out. I was so excited. And Oblivion came out. I'm like, what happened? All the characters looked stupid and the graphics were weird. I mean, they were great graphics for the time, but like the characters looked dumb and I don't know, it was weird. I know as a computer engineer, I know that you're working with limited stuff. Like I want to do a video on 007 because that was a feat of engineering that most software engineers can't even comprehend today. But like then Skyrim came out. Skyrim was a beautiful game when it came out. It was mind-boggling, but it was boring. The game was so boring. I was like, I enjoyed it for like a minute and it was boring. Oh, hello. For those, this is Luna, by the way. We've gotten 2 kittens that we raised since they could open their eyes, so they have a lot of attachment.
Right.
But yeah, it's just boring. It's just boring games. I mean, I got my money's worth, but it wasn't Morrowind to me. That's weird to say that Morrowind set a scale for that. So I'm interested to see what they do with the next Elder Scrolls. I mean, that's a huge that's a cash. It's like a money printer. So they got to do that right.
Yeah, I mean they got a lot of ammunition to just run that money printer.
And Halo was good too. The new Halo is good. I mean, Infinite people like complain about it a little bit, but like I just feel like a lot of us still carry rose-colored glasses. But I
Right.
feel like I was playing
You
Halo. When
definitely
I
do.
played that, it felt like Halo to me, just on a
Cool.
PC. So it's like more fast-paced, competitive,
That's,
I guess.
I guess that's all that matters. I mean, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how things are going to change. I never thought that Blizzard would be owned by a different company. I really thought that this was going to be, they were going to be like, I wonder how much of the, you wonder how much of the staff of the companies they're going to keep, how many people they're going to turn over, what that's going
Oh,
to
I
mean. But you'll
know.
never really know about that.
You could probably dig it up. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm really interested to see. And I know Sony bought Bungie. That was the other topic. And
Yeah.
if I see another freaking post about, oh, Sony owns Halo now. No, Bungie think they were the fathers and the mothers of Halo, and I will always hold them in my heart. But they sold that shit a long time ago. They do not own it anymore, and they've worked on it in the past and temporary contracted stuff. But no, Sony does not own Halo. They own Destiny.
So yeah,
Nice move, Sony.
Destiny. Destiny was fun. I don't mind Destiny, but again, it doesn't scratch that itch like I need.
I played the PvP a lot on it because it was competitive, but like it always go back to Counter-Strike. Tarkov's the first game I played that itches my Counter-Strike needs somewhat. I miss the arcadiness of Counter-Strike, but Tarkov is so, you really do sweat in that game, and I need that.
You do. And if you come into the Discord and you join us, you'll see that, and you'll sweat with us, and you can lose some weight if you need to, because you'll just burn calories on your own rage.
Yeah, it's adrenaline in the blood. If you're an adrenaline junkie, Tarkov's the game for you. And we got a lot of good guys. Make your way in. A lot of those guys will play with strangers. They're willing to take that shot. But we are a family of friends who've been friends. Some of us have been friends for 8+ years now, and we thoroughly yell at each other. So especially if opposition's there, love him very much. But he keeps us in line. He's the drill. He's the whipping boy for sure. So
right.
But yeah, come check us out. Please come check the Discord out. Because we want a place for people to chat. We want a place for people to hang out and do stuff, and place for memes and videos and content. We're always posting content, and we need you guys to come in and help with that. We're pretty laid back. We're not Gen Z. There is no safe space. There is no you can't really offend the group. I mean, obviously, don't be a douchebag, but we have fun. We really do have fun. So that's the thing. The thing about being in this community, and the whole idea is that we're gonna have people can come here and still have enjoy the '90s crude. What was that guy's name? George Carlin. Yeah, his kind of humor. Love it. Could not fly today, but back then it was fantastic.
Yeah, you need a little bit of thick skin, so if you will be potentially offended or insulted by someone at some point, but it's all in good fun.
It's all in good fun, and and most of those guys are behaved and they won't go too far, but at the same time they will go far. So just remember, early 2000 high school. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited, and I'm excited to do content for you guys.
Yes,
we gotta play a game together, Doc. We gotta find a game that we can do together.
Absolutely, we can do old school. We can do new school. I don't mind, as long as I have time. I can do it.
I know
we will definitely do it, and we'll stream it. We'll put it up there. So obviously, we talked about this. You're probably on YouTube. You might be listening to us on the audio podcast, but you're going to also be able to see this on some stuff on Twitch. Myself, Damo, or other people in the Discord may be streaming. Obviously, feel free to check them out, and you'll see posts on TikTok. You'll see posts on YouTube Shorts. You'll see posts on Instagram, regular old Facebook. What am I missing? I think I got most of them.
Twitter,
the Twitter.
We'll get some social medias out there.
Right. You'll see some stuff.
Yeah, and we'll get all the link below. Yeah, we'll get those linked below. And I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. And like I said, we're gonna try some new things and go from there. And but yeah, I've wanted to do like a Diablo 2 would be fun. Little Diablo 2.
I have the discs downstairs. I don't have a disc drive, but I have the disc.
They did the remake.
Oh yeah, you gotta buy the remake.
Yeah.
You bought it already, right?
I did buy it, and I played it for a hot minute because that game, I got suspended from school one time. My mom would take me to work, and I played Diablo 2 on a Mac.
How much time did you look for the cow level?
Oh God, not very long because I played multiplayer at the time, so somebody like showed it to me.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know, I had friends who were like, "Let me walk you through it." You know what I mean?
right.
But we'll come up with
No,
something.
I will definitely do that. And I'll tell you what, once I'm going to think about it, but I know somewhere in my basement I have a signed poster for Star Wars: The Old Republic from
Okay.
the devs.
Yep.
I'm going to give it away. So when we'll figure that out, and we'll do some giveaways on the channel now and again.
Yes,
If you love
absolutely.
the game, you may want this piece of history. And there's probably not a lot of them that exist, but we'll give it away.
Yeah,
I have
well,
some stuff I have to give away.
yeah, I got some stuff too. I got some graphics cards and things like that that people may find enjoyment of still today in our market. But yeah, but
Plus, I have a can of mayonnaise too. We can also give away. An
if you're a
old,
Tarkov player, that should be funny to you.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably it for us now. I
Mhm.
appreciate you guys listening in. Again, all this stuff will be listed below. Whatever you know, content delivery network you're on, media, whatever outlet. Please check us out. And you know, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Absolutely, guys. This will probably come out every couple of weeks, I think. We'll do a new podcast, or if something comes out in the news that we feel that is important that we'll want to weigh in on, obviously we'll do that. But you could certainly check out Damo's YouTube page for his own content, my page, and we'll link those stuff in the description below to see our content. And then all the content we do together, that's going to be up on the Modern Boomer site as well. So
Yep.
check it out. And if there's anything that you think you would like to see, you would like, hey, like I want to start drinking expensive whiskey.
I got you.
I want to learn how to cut a cigar. I want to, I don't know. I want to
I
learn how to
will.
DJ.
I will
Whatever.
gladly fly out, Doc. We can smoke cigars on cam. I'm down
Yes,
for
we've done that before, and we can do it
Yeah.
again. But absolutely, just let us know what you're interested in. If it tickles our fancy, we'll do a video on it because we're just gonna do stuff that we like.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, appreciate you guys listening in, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, guys, have a good one.